Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to our viewing audience, wherever you are tuning in with us today. We thank you for joining us on this momentous occasion. Earlier this morning at approximately 7 a.m., Jessup University was notified by the members of the NCAA Membership Committee that its application to join NCAA Division II and the Pac-West Conference was formally accepted. The Warriors will officially transition into NCAA Division II and compete in their first NCAA season in the fall of 2024. At our table right now, speaking to the media, we have on the far side our head men's basketball coach, Mark Darnell. In the center, our vice president for athletics, Lance Von Vogt, and our head women's softball coach and senior woman administrator, Bree Campbell. Lance, the floor is yours.
All right. Matt, thank you very much. It's a long time coming, and we're happy to be here. We want to thank the media for showing up and sharing our story about the transition to NCAA Division II. And we're happy to answer some questions as they come forward. I would be remiss if I didn't honor Dr. Jackson, our president, who had the vision and gave us the ability to pursue this endeavor. He's not here today. He's in Utah on vacation with his family, but he tuned in to the call this morning with the NCAA. So happy birthday, Dr. Jackson. This is a big present from us to you. But also everybody on the faculty, the staff, our student athletes, everybody that's been involved in building our athletic tradition and a part of the transition to NCAA Division II. And what I wanted to tell you is this didn't start 3 or 4 years ago. It really started in 1939 with Bill Jessup when he had the foundational thoughts about bringing William Jessup University into existence, and it was San Jose Bible. And it was about preparing pastors and allowing them to go out and plant churches and spread the word and to grow and to be what God had called us to be. And that's what the foundation of our university was, and that's why we're here today announcing our move to NCAA Division II. And there was an 8-year-old boy, and he was visiting his grandfather, and he went up to him and he said, very proud, "Grandpa, I'm going to be so successful one day." And the grandpa looks at him and he just kind of ponders. He goes, "But I need to know how to get there." Grandpa didn't say a word, grabbed his hand, walked him outside, took him to the car. They went for a little short drive. Right around the corner, there's a nursery. They stop in, they find 2 saplings while they're there. They choose them, they pick them out. They bring them home, they decide to plant them. One on the inside and one on the outside. After they're done planting, the grandpa looks at the grandson and he goes, "Which one do you think is going to be more successful?" Grandson thinks about it for a second, ponders it, and then he goes, "It's going to be the one on the inside, Grandpa, because it's protected and it's safe. It's going to get more care from more people, so it's going to be more successful." After the conversation, grandson goes home after the weekend. Fast forward about 7 years later, and the grandson's 15, returns to Grandpa's and says, "Grandpa, you never really answered my question on how I could be really successful when I grow up." And so the grandpa grabs his hand and says, "Hey, let me show you the trees." Takes him to the one that's planted on the inside, and it's beautiful, but it's small. Then takes him on the one on the outside, and it's powerful, and it's large and strong. It's got branches reaching up into the heavens. It's got roots that are down into the ground, and it was successful. And he looked at me and said, "Which one of these 2 do you think is more successful?" The grandson said, "Well, the outside one." He said, "Well, why is that?" He goes, "It doesn't make any sense to me because the other one was protected and safe, and that one had to deal with the elements." And the grandpa looked at him and said, "That's exactly it. Through those challenges, it grew powerful and strong." And what I say to you guys today is that Jessup is that story. We're the sapling that's been outside. And it started as a Bible college in San Jose, and then it turned into a Christian university in San Jose. About 300 or so students before we transitioned to William Jessup University here in Rockland. And in that, we've experienced so many challenges, financial challenges, social challenges, you name it, and we've been there. Athletic challenges, resource challenges, financial challenges. And as we transition, we've overcome all the ones that we've experienced, and we know that we're stepping into a whole nother set of challenges in front of us. So we don't go in blindly, but we feel like we've been prepared very well since 1939 to be in a place where we can accept the challenges, know that they're coming, grow from them, and become better. And that's why we sit here before you today, and we're here to do to answer any questions you guys may have. Thank you.
I'd like to just send a notice to anybody watching virtually. If you have a question for our panel, you may type it in the chat. We'll do as many as we can at the conclusion of this, and any we don't get, you may email me directly. My email is on the Jessup Athletics website, Matthew Horrock, Sports Information Director, and we will put you in contact with the person that we need to. At this time, I have a few questions that I'd like to ask our panel, the first being for you, Lance. With Jessup being a very successful university in the NAIA level, both from its time in the CalPAC and the GSAC, could you please explain a little bit as to why you and Dr. Jackson felt it was time to make the transition to NCAA?
Yeah, I think that we've hinted at it through it. We've poured significant resources into athletics. It's become the front porch of the university in many ways, with our music program being another front porch, and also our theater program being another front porch, as a way that we can connect with the community and bring people into the amazing things that happen right here at Jessup University. In that, we want to be the best versions of ourselves, and we want to continue to grow. We're not a school that wants to stand pat. And we want to accept the challenges, and the NCAA and moving up to that level is going to be a significant challenge for us. In that, we have many sister schools that existed in the GSAC that now are currently the leaders in the Pac West Conference and leaders in NCAA Division II. And simply put, we look forward to competing with them again.
For Coach Darnell, you are one of our newer family members here at Jessup University, but you come to us with a lot of NCAA experience, the Division I level with most recently Eastern Washington, locally UC Davis, and at the Division II level with Chico State. I'm curious on that Division II side, could you please maybe describe a little bit as to some things that make Division II stand out or special that we could look forward to here at Jessup?
Yeah, I just think, from my experiences, it's just it's the brand, it's the profile, it's going to get our name out there. There's not a premier Division II program in Sacramento, and I just think there's such just tremendous opportunity with that. We're going to have brand recognition across the country now, even more enhanced than what it was. And this program, I've known about it for a long time, and to see how it's grown in 10 years is amazing, much less the 20 years that this campus has been here. And so just with the leadership that this institution's had and how it's pushed forward, I just am super excited about what it can look like in another 10 years. I just can't stop thinking about that. So it's an exciting time, but I just think the NCAA is going to allow our brand to really be pushed forward, especially in Sacramento and all of Northern California. But really here in Sacramento, I think it's such a great thing for this area to be able to have an institution in the NCAA Division II.
And then just a follow-up for you, Coach. Coming to us from Eastern Washington, a trip to the NIT, were you aware of Jessup's application to join the NCAA? And if so, was that a leading factor in your wanting to join the staff here?
Yeah, so I didn't know about it when the job was posted, and Lance had reached out, and we had a conversation, and it was one of the first things he had brought up. And it was a huge factor for me. And I think that resonates across what it's going to be for, the student athletes that we recruit. I just think it gives you more brand recognition, more recognition, certainly as an athletic department, but it's going to resonate and push forward also into the university. There's no question about that, especially a small private Christian school like we are. And so, no, I didn't know about it, and as soon as I did, it was a huge influence for me in regards to this position. And I'm just so excited. I'm excited for our alums, especially. We have some here in the building that really, have laid the groundwork for what this program is. Obviously, Coach Lance and the work he's put in, and at least for my sport. But it goes across the board for all of our sports. That these alums and these especially of our student athletes, how much this is going to mean to them and how much they're going to be able to look back and say, like, hey, I was on the ground floor of that. And I think that's super, super special. But it's definitely going to impact, people we recruit to work here and people that we recruit to go to school here.
And then throwing it over to the right side of the screen, Bree Campbell, our senior woman administrator and head softball coach. As a coach first, someone who's led a very successful program in the last several years, I'm wondering how does this announcement today affect your recruiting tactics moving forward?
I think it's a great opportunity for us to continue to grow. Having been with Jessup for the last 7 years, it's been my pleasure to be able to grow within the department and in administration, and now as a head coach, and to be able to see our athletes be able to have that next moment for them. That's what we're here for. We're here to be able to give the best student-athlete experience, and we truly believe that this step is in the right direction. We have a lot of competition around us. I think Coach Lance and Darnell can say there are schools within our region that we compete against when it comes to recruiting. So it's exciting to have that blue logo in our corner, to be able to have a one-up and to continue our success, because it's very important for us to continue on this journey of winning programs, of success for our student athletes on and off the court, the field of play, and this is just one more step in the right direction.
And then from your title as senior woman administrator, an executive level role at the NCAA, do you see any areas of growth or change that potentially excite you with this change compared to the NAI?
Yes, I think having been a part of this last year, celebrating 50 years of Title IX, it's an exciting time for women in sports, specifically senior women administrator. I'm excited to take that one here at Jessup and grow it, but also to be able to learn from those around me and have that be a pinnacle for women athletes to learn as they continue to grow here. I think it's going to be an opportunity for our university to show the diversity and the opportunity to show that we have equal opportunity across all levels of play. And I have been blessed working in Division I conference, the Big West Conference, when I first started in sports, working at the University of Memphis, working under some amazing mentors in the SWA position, and to be able to follow in their footsteps is just a dream come true.
And then before we open it up to the public or anybody in this room that has a question, Lance, I'm wondering, can you describe the moments of when the announcement was made, where you were, and just potentially, is it a feeling of relief at this point to get the news?
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt. And what I would tell you is that there really weren't any nerves until about 24 hours before the announcement. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, it was the proximity to the announcement. It became much more real. We were really confident with the work that had been done by our committees. We had so many people. I don't have the ability to thank everybody that had their hand in what we produced and shared with the NCAA in the application process. But what I can tell you that it was exhaustive, and I'm grateful. So I was very confident in the product that we put forward. However, in the final day, there was a little bit of anxiety, and had to trust the Lord on that moment and pray over it and get some sleep last night, wake up early this morning, and we were the first call on the docket, so I was grateful for that. But absolutely, there was a sense of relief when we got the call, and I thanked the NCAA because they got on the call and they said, hey, we're not going to beat around the bush here. We're just going to let you know where you're at, and we've accepted your application to join NCAA. And at that moment, I think that everybody that was in that room kind of had a nice little sigh of relief and a chance to just kind of let our hair down for a moment.
Great. And at this time, if anybody in the room has any questions they'd like to ask, Jordan?
Mostly for the two coaches. I know men's basketball and softball feel like they've probably been the two sports, team sports-wise, that have been the most successful in the last couple of years here, both nationally ranked. When can people expect basketball and softball to kind of be at that level in Division II, and necessarily how big of a step up is competition?
Go ahead.
Year one. I think that's the goal, that's the plan, is to make our impact the minute we step in. Obviously, we'll have our two provisional years where we won't be competing for the championship, For recruiting purposes, I think that's going to adjust our recruiting a little bit. I'm a heavy transfer recruiter, and so I think I'll be gearing more a little towards 4 years, but it's an opportunity to grow the athletes together. So the minute that we can compete in that postseason, for me specifically, I would love for us to be the #1 spot. I think it's exciting to see where we've been in the top 25 of softball and to just continue to have those goals and aspirations, because most of the teams that we're going to be competing against, such as Azusa, Biola, Concordia, were in our spot, not that long ago.
Yeah, I just piggyback on that. The top half of our league has been so good in the GSAC, in men's basketball. The talent level will be very similar. I would say consistently across the board, it will be a little bit higher competition, no doubt about that. But yeah, we're obviously trying to plan to compete right away and, find guys that are going to buy into our vision and understand, it's a process, and especially with us transitioning. But we're looking forward to competing at a high level right away.
Any other questions in the room? I'll ask one then. For Lance and Bree, Mark being newer, I'm curious. Earlier today, also, Menlo and Vanguard were notified that they also were accepted. And Lance, you mentioned there's a number of schools in the Pac West where Jessup will be competing who previously were in the GSAC, especially at the time Jessup was. Is that a sense of comfort, perhaps, that there's already people that you've worked with that going into a new conference?
Absolutely, there's a familiarity there. We've seen others that we know that we've competed well against and stood head to head against and toe to toe against, and had our share of wins, but then also took our share of beatings as well. So it's going to be highly competitive. But knowing that there's other schools that we have competed against before that have done this and transitioned well from the GSAC to the Pac West does give us confidence in what we have in front of us. We know that it can be done. We're going to have to do it our way. We've been improving scholarships since I arrived. I believe that the largest scholarship when I arrived was $12,000, and the normal scholarship was $8,000 on a private school education for athletics. And we've been improving those systematically over the last decade, and we're continuing to work with our financial aid office to continue to improve how we scholarship so that we can put our coaches and our programs in the best position to be successful as we enter into this new level and into the Pac West and D2. But I think that all of those things about getting everybody on campus together, working together, is really the sign of why we're here today. And that's what's going to be necessary for us to be successful moving forward. And fortunately, we do have a synergistic relationship with all the departments around campus. It's not siloed here, and I think that's the strength of Jessup University and Jessup Athletics is that we truly do have partners all the way around campus, and we're not just working on this on our own.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an opportunity to also have people with us as we do the transition. From a coaching level, Coach Sky and Coach Sydney are pretty new to the GSAC, but to be able to have 2 female coaches going with you to the next level is an honor. And I agree. I think this process wouldn't be possible with so many faces that are in this room, but then also that are still at their desks working. And it took a year. We made sure that everything that we submitted was on key and on point. And I think we had to have the support from every single department and every single segment of the university in order to know that this was the right move for Jessup.
We do have a couple questions coming in on our YouTube chat, one of which topic of conversation with a number of athletes in the local area going elsewhere to take NCAA scholarships. How could this help Jessup in keeping local students here in the Sacramento area?
I'll start off, and then I'm going to turn it over to the two that will continue as coaching. But from a university standpoint, beyond even athletics, one of the things that we want to do is we want to really, really recruit and bring students in that are from our backyard. And we want to be able to create those roots and have this community be proud of its hometown university. So that is going to be something we're going to do. I'm sure that we will expand our recruiting as necessary to land the right student athlete. We're not going to take somebody just because they're from the local area, although we'll be looking at all the local athletes, but we'll also be branching out and expanding our reach with this move.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be great for the local area, not just for student athletes. For me, You know, a school like Jessup allows you to branch out, which is really neat. But there's, you know, this profile of a school has to fit certain individuals, you know, with your faith, with, you know, the type of schooling you're looking for, with the, you know, major you want, with the activities you want to be involved in. What I think it does is, yeah, it'll help us in regards to our brand in Sacramento, which I'm super excited about. But athletics itself, being NCAA Division II, just for the regular student, is going to create more of an excitement and an affinity for kids, hopefully, to want to come to Jessup and be a part of Jessup and graduate and be happy to be an alum of Jessup. So,
Anything else, Coach?
Another from the chat, important to discuss. What does this mean for the next upcoming year, the 2023-24 year?
that's you.
Continue to grow, continue to be able to make an impact and grow one in our talent, our academics, our faith, everything. Just be able to have that championship mindset so that we know that we're ready for the next level.
And then during the next year, we'll still, compete NAIA, and we're going to be challenging for national championships, conference championships throughout the year. We've got committed coaches. I'm looking at our two soccer coaches here today, Greg Lazaga, Amsalu Fontahan, and I think soccer is going to have a fantastic year this year. I've seen the recruits that they've been bringing in. I see our women's basketball coaches here. I see a lot of the Jessup community sitting in here today, and I just know that this coming year is going to be not only a year where we're preparing for the NCAA first competition in August of 2024, but it's also going to be a year for us to finish strong in the NAIA, which is an association that served us well, and finish strong in the GSAC, which has served us well. And we're so grateful for the NAIA, and we're so grateful for the GSAC, and we're stepping into a new era, but that does not mean that we did not have an amazing experience that grew us where we're currently at. And I'm going to give a shout out to Westmont College, and they're in transition year one right now that they just finished. Okay, they're 1 year ahead of the process than what we are, a GSAC member. Their final competition as an NAIA member was the national championship for baseball this year, and they won it. And that was their swan song and their wave off. So shout out to Westmont. And we'll be back. We'll be there in a year, and we're hoping that we can end one of our years, one of our seasons, with a national championship, just like they did.
Yeah.
Great. And then just to wrap it up, a couple questions we've got coming in. What are some ways moving forward with this announcement that our alums and our local community can get more involved?
We love connecting with the community, and that's what we're all about. Our alum, you know how much we love you. Thank you for building us. We're not here today without all the work that you've done. And we're going to be coming to a city near you if you're not living here locally in Sacramento. And in this, we're going to be reaching out and doing a lot of different get-togethers at the competitions, at the games, at the track and field meets, over the course of time. And we'll be reaching out. We look forward to inviting you into and keeping you as part of our Jessup Warrior community.
I think it kind of goes off of our theme for this year is brick by brick, the foundation was laid, and that starts back when Jessup was born with San Jose Bible College, but most importantly with every student athlete that has competed here. And some of those faces being in this room today, coming just for this, time to celebrate a monumental moment going forward.
Great. We want to thank you for your time. For anyone interested in more, you can go to jessupathletics.com, and we will be happy to share any info as it becomes available to us. At this time, if you have any closing remarks that you'd like to make, please make them now.
No, hey, go Warriors, and we look forward to seeing you supporting us at the games this year and beyond.
Great. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to follow us on social media at Jessup Athletics. And until then, go Warriors.
Well done.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. Well done.